Hey guys, so today we're going to be looking at strange things that happen to people. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. When I was in college, a drunk dude fell from a third floor balcony and got up and walked away like it was nothing. Seriously, one of the weirdest and freakish things I've ever seen in my life. He fell from the third floor, got up, wiped himself off and was like, that wasn't too bad. Maybe he was just so relaxed that he turned bouncy. I had recently watched an early episode of Criminal Minds where an arsonist would lock people in their homes before lighting the house on fire. For whatever reason, it kind of got to me. A night or two later, I woke up out of a dead sleep and couldn't get that episode out of my mind. So I finally decided to just get up and check the front door. I swear I could not open the door. Unlocked it, but it was totally stuck. I woke up my husband because I was so freaked out. He also tried and couldn't get the door open, and he's a big guy. I ended up climbing out a window so I could push the door from the outside while he pulled from the inside. We finally got it open. I didn't watch Criminal Minds for a long time after that. Are you telling me someone locked them inside of their own home? That is so creepy. That's actually so scary. I mean, it's not Criminal Minds' fault. In fact, Criminal Minds saved them. So they should continue watching it. Like, what about the back door? Or was it like every door was locked? Jeez. I hit a patch of black ice in the dark going 60 miles per hour down the highway. At the time, I drove a 1-ton cargo van. It hit the guardrail and flipped. Not only did I walk away without a scratch, the car was drivable and I was only 30 minutes late to work. Well, they had the guardian angel on their side. Jeez. And they still drove to work. I don't know why, that's just kind of sad. Got into a car accident, still had to drive to work. Had a dream that I got a phone call saying my brother that I haven't seen in 10 years had died. 2 days later, I got a call that he actually had died. Oh, that's so sad. Was a dream just like preparing them for it? How do they know? Is it just a feeling? I feel like sometimes dreams are just like your gut feelings playing out in your mind. I'm a firefighter and we got a call for an overdose around 3 a.m. to a rough part of our district in the middle of winter. Unfortunately, the patient was long gone and her dealer or whatever found her like that when he dropped some stuff. As we were packing up our stuff, mind you, this is an absolutely trashed home. I hear something down the hall that said lights. I asked my partner if he said anything as it was just him and I cleaning up and he said no. I walked to the far end of the trailer where I heard it and shined my flashlight. I get a reflection out of the window. They have a small tool shed and it had a flickering light. It piqued my interest, so my partner and I go out there. We hear crying and notice the door is padlocked. We cut her and this little 6-year-old girl was in there. She said her mum puts her in there when she gets mad at her. She said she got scared when she heard the sirens and didn't know what to do. To this day, I have no idea what happened or where the voice came from, but I'll take the win on it. Whoa, whoa, whoa! So she was in there because her mum locked her in there? I hope the girl gets a better home. Seriously. Is taken care of by better people. That is so sad. It's always so sad to hear about kids going through this. But thank goodness for the boys. Like, I love hearing stories where, you know, the ghost is like a good person. I love it. I used to fence. I was at a tournament and had just started a bout against a competitor. You win the bout by being the first to 5 points. I score what I believe to be the first point, but the official indicates the match is over and I've won. I stood there confused for a second, but my opponent seems to agree and salutes and approaches for a handshake, so I go along with it. I check the scoreboard and it says I've won 5-2. Totally lost probably 4 or 5 minutes of time. Hasn't happened since to the best of my knowledge, but it's been 20 years and I still wonder what happened. Did they get knocked out or something? And then, bam! Round is over! You won! And they just lost 5 minutes of their memory. What happened? Or did their brain just go like autopilot because they're just so used to it and they just forgot? They just didn't even know that they won. Both of my lungs collapsed at the same time. Almost over 50% collapsed, and I was walking around like I was perfectly normal until I decided to go to the ER for bubble sounds in my chest. None of the doctors could figure out why this had happened to me. They didn't know how I was just up and walking around and laughing. Both their lungs collapsed and they were just chilling. It didn't hurt. They were just chilling. They were just having the time of their life. Wow. The human body is kind of crazy. Time slipped by my friend and I one day. We got a contract in another town and drove out daily for 2 weeks. It was 1 hour to get there and 1 hour back. But one day it took us 3 hours to get back to town. My friend realized something was wrong when his wife called him up, asking why he turned his phone off and why he was so late. We left a little before 2 p.m. and the call came almost at 5 p.m. To this day, we can't explain it. And to further complicate matters, we both have receipts from a gas station we stopped at just before we got on the highway that are timestamped a bit after 2 p.m. My theory is that the aliens took us for 2 hours, but who the hell knows? I agree. The wives probably thought they cheated. Because seriously, why was your phone off? For 3 hours? That's a bit suspicious. Imagine they're like, I don't know, the aliens took us. I was driving across the US and drove into Salt Lake City. For whatever reason, I got a craving for IHOP. So I punched it into Google Maps and followed the directions to a spot in the middle of town. I walk in and the place is empty. I don't mean like there were no customers. I mean there is literally not a person in the place. No wait staff, no customers, no cooks, nobody. There was partially eaten food on all the tables, bags and purses in the booths, TVs on everywhere, burgers on the grill slowly burning. And there wasn't a soul in the place. Like they all just vanished at once. I was so freaked out, I hopped in my car and drove until I hit the Nevada border before stopping to eat. Still have no idea what happened. That's so scary. The fact that it's like no one, right? It would have been fine if it was just like an empty place, nobody, no food, nothing. But the burgers were on the grill, grilling. TVs were on, but there's no one. That's so scary. But the only explanation to this was there was actually one person there and they turned on all the TV. They were just grilling the burger because they were hungry and they went out the back waiting. Because if not, what the frick? Seriously, that's so scary. That kind of feels like an apocalypse. Like everyone's gone, it's just you left. And somebody else. So this still baffles me, but when I was a kid, we had moved into a new house and while the realtor was showing us around the house, I saw a lady sitting at a white dresser in a pink room and she even waved at me. But when I asked mum who that was, she just brushed me off because she was trying to listen to the realtor. The weird thing is that there were no rooms painted pink in the house and my family just played it off despite me being adamant of what I saw. Anyway, fast forward a few years and I'm in high school at this point and we start renovating the house and while stripping the wallpaper in the master bedroom, we found out it was painted pink at some point. Still low-key freaks me out. What the frick? No thank you. I don't want no part in that house. That's so scary. Why? The pink room vanished until they were renovating and the pink room was actually beneath a wallpaper. So one night I had a dream that I was working out in the gym that I regularly go to. In the dream, I was in the normal spot where I work out, exercising, when all of a sudden, the lights in the gym go out. All the TV screens go off. Can't see anything, but in the dream, it feels like some sort of smoke is filling up the gym, and I could hear and barely see people panicking, running to the exit. Feels like maybe it's a terrorist attack. I start running, trying to get to the exit, and it's getting harder and harder to breathe. Just as I'm kind of hyperventilating and succumbing to the toxic smoke, I jolt awake. Very intense dream that stuck with me. A week later, in real life, actual life, I'm working out in my gym, and boom, the lights and TV screens go out. It was this incredibly surreal moment where I actually thought I was dreaming again. I stood there stunned for a moment before realizing that the power just went out due to a thunderstorm. It came back about 5 minutes later. I told a gym employee nearby that I jumped about this. She laughed politely and probably thought I was insane. Really strange. Yeah, that's so scary. If that happened to me, I ain't be working out anymore. I'll just be running out. I would be running out. Oh, but it's just a thunderstorm? Oh. Do you think that's why some people act a bit crazy? It's because they dream about things and they just act a bit crazy in real life because they think it's going to happen in real life, but nothing's happening. But they dreamt about it. It's like all those Final Destination movies. They dreamt about it. When I was younger in elementary school, I used to have the same dream every weekend starting on Saturday and then waking up in the middle of the night on Sunday and throwing up. The dream was always a bunch of numbers, not even anything happening, just a bunch of random jumbled up numbers all over the place. I never understood why that happened where the same dream would happen on the same night every week and I would throw up every single time. I always think about it and wonder what it was or if it was just some weird coincidence. Also, I would not have any signs of being sick before or after. Maybe someone else has experienced this. Numbers? They just dreamt about numbers and they threw up every time. If you've been dreaming about numbers since you were a kid, you better be smart. Okay. Literally. So what do the numbers mean? Like, have they written it down? Maybe it could be a lot of numbers. Maybe they could have been rich, right? Maybe. My dad owned a small garden shop, so I stayed behind the checkout after school till the shop closed. This wasn't until I see a tall man wearing all black like a trench coat, walking past my dad and smiling at me before going into a staff-only area. I jump up to stop him, even though I was 7. This back area filled with new shipments. I turned the corner, but nobody is there. There was nowhere he could have gone. I asked my dad to check the CCTV after closing, but it's only showed me jumping up and running out of frame. Weird stuff. Never felt comfortable there again. Hell no! Maybe that was like the Grim Reaper or something. Like, what the frick? That is scary. It's like, check the cameras. I swear he was here. But it was just them talking to themselves. Oh my goodness. Driving with a hubby and I see a bunch of bikers having a cookout. Out of the blue, and I don't know why I said this, people look down on bikers, but I bet if the house across the street catches fire, these men would run into it and save the little old lady. And I pointed to the house. That was the first time I've ever driven down that street. We just moved to that neighborhood. My husband was just listening to music. That night at 2 a.m., that house that I pointed to burned down and an elderly woman died. I mean, I'm not trying to laugh, but I'm just trying to be like, nobody offend this woman. Literally, she will point at you. Imagine if that person just vanishes right now. Oh, that's scary. So when I was a kid, I slept with my bedroom door open because my cat liked to cuddle me. Our hallway was just a round hallway and I could see the bathroom door and my parents' bedroom door. Though it was dark, it was in view. I also slept with my lights only dimmed. One night, I can't sleep for some reason. I, for some reason, call out for my mum, kind of turned away with her hand on her face and her hair draping. I know it's her because she slept in a big purple t-shirt that night, but she's completely still, static. Mind you, I'm wide freaking awake. Might have been watching TV before this, 3 a.m. Disney Channel probably. When I call out to her, she doesn't move at all. Blink, she's gone. I start freaking out and calling out to her for real, and that's when I hear the door open and close, and my mum rushes to my aid. I think she either slept with me all night, or I stayed up all night watching TV to pacify myself. I started sleeping with the door closed after that, and I don't look too carefully in the darkness. Oh my goodness! Yo, that's the scariest for me. You know what's the scariest thing for me? Is when a person is just static still. Even if it's not in the dark, even if I was out shopping, right? And someone is just like static still, out in the open, bright, I would still be scared. But now imagine the dark. Someone is just in your hallway static, not moving at all. I don't know why I find that so scary. I feel like when humans are just like still, they're the scariest. It just feels so like you don't know what they're going to do next. And I hate that feeling. I hate it because humans are scary. You never know what they're thinking about. So like, so scary. Oh my goodness, I freaking hate this. I hate it. They were just still. Oh, hand on her face. It wasn't her mum. It was someone else pretending to be her mum. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.